All right. So just tell me a little bit about yourself and what you do.
So my name is Magnus Wiig, and I play drums in a band called Yorn's Apostles. And we're a local band. We're based out of Marin County, but we started out of the Tamalpais High School music program. And we say we're from Stinson Beach because that's where we practice, but it sounds cool too. And we gig all around the Bay Area. Berkeley, we play a lot, San Francisco, Marin County, and Petaluma, and we're really trying to start up the local music scene in Marin and really like get that thriving, trying to encourage more people to start bands. But we released an album, and yeah, music is our thing, man. So we're playing as many shows as we can.
Killer. When's the next one coming up?
Next one is Saturday, November 23rd at the Boomerang Lounge in Mill Valley. Then we also have December 28th at the Phoenix Theater in Petaluma. So if you're around, you should come check them out.
Killer.
All right.
So what got you into drumming in the first place? Like, what inspired you to be a drummer? When did you start? When did you know that you really enjoyed drumming and wanted to do something with it?
Yeah, I think my dad's a musician too, and when I was a baby, there was always like instruments around the house, or guitars, or little bongos and stuff. And I think they I had gotten a tiny drum kit as a gift when I was a little kid from some friends, and then I started banging around on that thing for a while, and then I kind of grew out of it. Did baseball and stuff in elementary and middle school, and then in 8th grade, that's really when I got back into music, and I first got into metal. That was my first thing. And
what type of bands, if you don't mind me asking?
Like Metallica, Slayer, like a lot of thrash metal. That was where it started for me. But,
Pantera?
Oh yeah. Dude,
Good man.
Yeah, so 8th grade is about when I really decided, like, okay, I think I want to try to do music, and I saw Slayer in Germany, and
What was that trip like, dude? Oh my God.
Man. It was their last show in Germany, but they're back together now, so who knows? But I just remember watching them and being like, wouldn't it be so cool to be on that stage doing that? And we got back from the trip, got a real drum kit back in my room, and then just started playing after school. Wasn't playing in any bands, but just kind of learning by ear, watching my favorite bands on YouTube live and stuff, and just trying to pick up tips. But that's really when I was like, okay, I think I'm a drummer. I want to really try to be in a band.
Hell yeah. All right, and my next question to you is, when did you form your band, Yorn's Apostles? How long have you been playing in gigs, and what are your plans for the future in regards to your band?
Okay. Yeah, Yorn's Apostles formed in 2020, originally on Zoom class when I was in my freshman year. However, I was not in Yorn's Apostles yet, but the name existed with our singer Max Weinberg for a few years, only really in the music program. They didn't do a lot of shows outside of that, but then in 2021, fall of 2021 is when I got invited to join the band, and that's when it felt a little more put together. We started to gel, and then that was my sophomore year. And then in the fall of junior year, we had some lineup changes, which is the current lineup that we have now.
Cool.
Which is the Yorn's Apostles lineup.
And what's that Yorn's Apostles lineup?
That is Max Weinberg on vocals and guitar, Sammy Anderson on vocals and guitar as well, Alita Urick on bass, and Magnus is me on the drums. And in that year, we really started to take some time to write original music, and people brought in some ideas for songs, and we got to work on it in the music class. And then in March of 2023, we really had our first gig at the Phoenix in Petaluma, and that felt sort of like the first time we broke away from being associated with just like a high school music class band. So I think that's really when it started to begin. And then there was never a point where we were like, oh, we want to do shows as a band. It was like, okay, we got this one, now we got invited to this show, we're doing this one. So it just continued to build on each other, and we've been doing that ever since.
Gotcha. It's great.
Like 2 or 3 times a month. It can vary, but yeah, all around the Bay Area. So
cool, man.
That's what we're doing at the moment.
And to circle back, what was that first gig like at the Phoenix Theater?
Yeah.
What was that like? Were you nervous? Were you just excited? Like, what were the emotions going through your guys' heads at that time?
I was so excited because since 8th grade, like I said, I had been wanting to be in a band and thought it was so cool to get on stage and be able to like play in front of people or share that musical passion that I have with other people and try to make people experience the feeling that I had when I heard my favorite bands for the first time. And I was nervous, but I was also very excited, and I think like over time I'm able to take that nervous feeling and like channel it into just like excitement, or instead of worrying about the crowd, I just go up there and most of the time I'm not looking at the crowd because there's lights.
Jamming out, right?
Jamming out, but I realize that everybody's just there to have a good time. So, but that first gig, there were a little more nerves, but over then it's slowly built up to where
totally.
Yeah,
I'm sure it's just second nature now, right?
Yeah, that's right.
That's awesome. Go. Okay. So, just from the standpoint of being a band, realizing you wanted to do it, I'm sure that you took inspiration from different bands. You know, obviously you've got your metal, your thrash metal that you really started to get into in 8th grade. But as a band now, as an established band, who do you guys look up to? Who do you guys try to model yourselves after? Are you just Yorns, or who do you take inspiration from?
Yeah, well, I think we try to be, we play in a few music scenes, I'd say, and I think I always try to take into account like what's happening in the scene, and if there's certain trends, that's cool, but I think we also like to try to have our own identity, and if there's trends, it's like, okay, maybe we'll try to do something that's very different than that, just because I think we want to stand out to people or be something different than what's the norm at the moment. But Metallica's one of the first bands that I got into, and I've always sort of looked to them as that's a functioning band, or how they've been able to do their thing for so many years, and how there's different personalities in the band, there's conflict, but I think they're able to come together and make it work. So I think I really try to bring in that, but also at the same time, like when we're playing shows and stuff and how we approach that, I love a lot of punk bands like Sex Pistols and stuff. They're one of my favorite bands, so I think I really like their approach to it, of like they're going to bring who they personally are, their own identity, to wherever they are. They're not going to feel like, oh, we can't play here or something, or the crowd isn't working for us, but they sort of give their music and their songs to people whether they like it or not, and I really like that attitude a lot.
So would you say that, to elaborate on that statement, would you say that you guys, your identity is your own? It's a unique sound that no one's heard before.
I'd hope so, and it's hard for me to explain what we sound like to people or who we are, just because I'm an inside source, but I think it really takes somebody who goes to our shows to be able to like tell us who we are, because that's something that I don't really know, but I'd like to be known as like original. That'd mean a lot, and I think that's definitely what we strive for sure.
So you heard it here first, folks. You have to go to a Yorn show in order to know what they sound like.
And check it out.
It's one of a kind, man. So I know that we talked about your band, your sound. You guys just produced and released an album. How many albums have you dropped so far?
We have one album. It's a debut album. We dropped it back in April. And we had those songs for about a good year before the album actually came out. So I think right now a lot of us as people are hearing them for the first time, those songs to us are like old, but we have a ton of new songs, probably 15 or something, that aren't on an album yet. So we're working on those right now and hoping to get those out soon. But yeah, just one so far. But yeah, that's
probably looking to make a second one. Very, very cool.
Yeah.
Would you say, what would you say your signature song is? Like the song that someone needs to hear by Yorn's Apostles. Which one is it?
I feel like every member of the band would say a completely different thing.
But for you, which one for you?
My favorite, I think, is, I'd probably say our title track from the album, Festivities in Your Native Language. Or I'd say Candied Cigarettes too is a favorite of mine. And then there's also songs like AFMA, which is like much more punk based and stuff. I feel like every song kind of has its own identity. It's the others, and there's a lot of dynamic on the album which we tried to create. So I feel like there's almost a song for everybody who might be into a certain genre. Although we don't have that many different genres, but depending on what you like, I think there's an element in that album, in a particular song, that you could identify with.
Right. So you're able to. Would you say that you're able to blend different elements of rock, and that's
Definitely.
probably
I
where
think
you
so.
get all your inspiration from, right?
Yeah.
No two bands are the same, so you're able to.
That's right.
Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah,
Very
I think,
cool.
we or even if try to bring as many different, I wouldn't say as many different elements as we can, but try to incorporate different styles, even if it's like sometimes live we do a little reggae thing. So just trying to stay away from like following trends of being under like one genre or one side, and just try to make it not necessarily have a genre define us, but just try to bring in different things and people can interpret it however they want.
Hell yeah, brother.